High top sports where the takes don't miss. The prof with the stats, the champ with the fist. Water bringing fire, cowboy tie riding bold. Bulls calling bets, watch the stories unfold. And it's truly eyebrows running the show. It's high top sports, baby.
Let's get it. Let's go. Good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to High Top Sports. It is, in fact, the best day of the week. And when I tell you we got a jam-packed one, we have a jam-packed one. A Gator scandal, hashtag Burnergate. Yeah, we got to talk about it, boys and girls. We got to unpack all of it. And, of course, what everybody is just running around with their hair on fire. The Lane Kiffin drama, the coaching carousel, all of the above we're going to talk about today with our special guest, Andy Staples. That's going to get us behind the scenes to see how things are rocking and rolling. And hopefully Bozen brings a better attitude today for our pick'ems. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, David Swolder joins us here for the best day of the week. How we doing, big guy? How we doing?
Man, another slow news week, man. I mean, I don't know how many slow news weeks we can run into right here. We've got Ole Miss fans and Florida fans on the timeline going back and forth. We've got burner accounts cussing people out. I mean, it feels like a WWE Royal Rumble out there, really. Like every time I log in, I feel like I'm a participant. You know how they like go through 1 through 30? I feel like number 1,000 and I'm coming out to like 1,000 people just going back and forth between each other. So it's been pretty fun. But other than that, man, hey, it's Wednesday. It's the best day of the week, baby. Let's get it. Let's go.
Yeah, it's been mayhem. It's been really fun to watch. I mean, I don't typically see Ole Miss fans on my timeline and seeing them just respond to it. And here's the best part. Everyone's like, we're going to come back and laugh at you when you get Lane. They don't understand the troll game, right? If we don't get Lane, we never wanted him. That's just what we're going to tell him, okay? That doesn't mean, but it doesn't have to be true.
Oh, yeah.
If we don't get Lane, it's because he wasn't good enough to be here. He wasn't ready for the smoke. But to give us some insight about Lane, maybe it's Eli, maybe it's the Dark Knight, Jeff Brom, Andy Staples from On 3 joins the show today. Andy, how we doing, man?
What's up, guys? Yeah, I think the Ole Miss fans quite understand the troll game pretty well because Lane Kiffin is their coach.
True.
I mean, it's like a family. Like the week that Landry's daughter hard launched her relationship with Whit Weeks and let the world know, we had because obviously that's an SEC family, the Weeks family. Like dad played at Georgia, the brothers all played at LSU. So like we asked around, we're like, what's really going on here? And everybody's like, she's more of a troll than her dad. Like apple didn't fall far from the tree. So you're dealing with an entire family of trolls. Like if social media had existed, I bet Monty would have been a troll when he was the DC of the Bucks.
That's
okay. It gets crazy because like,
go ahead.
I was just gonna say real quick, like it gets crazy because when like Knox Kiffin likes something pro Florida, I'm just like, I don't want him to do that. I don't want him to do that at all.
Lanesville, is that what they're saying he's calling it?
Yeah.
Hey, listen. Knox Kiffin, if you're listening, my son is a starting center at a high school in Gainesville, and their QB is a senior. I'm just saying.
Is this the pitch? Andy's a man. He's a man.
Just saying. They've changed the offense for you.
On the board, baby.
There you go. I'm fixing to get like a fog machine and just like choo-choo. Let the little fog machine go off behind me.
I think there's a difference though, Andy, in the troll game because they're able to live on the troll side of having success with Lane, right? Like they're on the fun side of it. Us giving it back to them, I don't think they're used to it. They've been spoiled.
Yeah, there's going to be a very large group of very disappointed people on the internet, one way or the other. I don't know how this ends. I have no clue how this ends, but and I don't think anybody actually does, other than I do think that's who they're going to go after. I think that's the first choice, and he's got time to figure this out. I mean, shoot, what happens this weekend in the Ole Miss Oklahoma game could have an effect on it. Like if Ole Miss beats Oklahoma, look at the rest of Ole Miss's schedule. Like easy. Ole Miss is making the playoff if they beat Oklahoma.
Yeah, well, they'll lose to Florida, of course. We're their kryptonite.
That I was talking to somebody about that today, and can you imagine? Let's say they do lose to Oklahoma, and they go into that Florida game with 2 losses, and Billy G and the boys go up there to Oxford and close the deal. I can't even imagine.
I want to wear them out. Like. I want to wear them out. I want to beat them, and then we'll just take Lane home with us while we're there.
So there's actually a Bobby Bowden story that's really similar to this. So in the late 70s, it was early in his Florida State tenure, Florida State would play anybody anywhere. And so Florida State had 5 games in a row against LSU in Baton Rouge. And so before one of those games, LSU was making a coaching change. It was well known. The LSU AD had behind the scenes gotten hold of Bobby Bowden and said, would you like the job? And Bobby basically tells his wife, Ann, he says, if we win, we're staying at Florida State because it means we can win here. If they win, we're going to Baton Rouge. So he went there and beat them, and he stayed at Florida State. Like it was that simple. Like it came down to that game.
So this could be it then. This is you think Lane's having that same conversation. Do you think Lane knows where he wants to go?
I don't know. I think he probably has a pretty good idea. I think he's probably thought it through for a lot of years. But I also know that a lot of things can change when you're riding a great season or when things, because the thing about this is not 15 years ago. Okay. And I'm not going to be popular saying this in this particular audience. I think the other people on the internet probably like this, but 15 years ago, this was not even going to be a question. 15 years ago, Florida could pay more money. The ceiling's clearly higher. Like there would be no doubt. Like if Florida wanted the Ole Miss coach, Florida's getting the Ole Miss coach. But the fact of the matter is, in the NIL era, in the rev share era, you can win a national title at Ole Miss too. Like Ole Miss can pay exactly what Florida can pay. So it comes down to where do you want to work?
Yeah.
That's really what it will be. It will be him deciding where he wants to work.
And this is what I've said. I've said money isn't a factor, and people are like, money is like it's there. Each school, Ole Miss is going to do everything.
It's not a factor because they can pay as much too. Yeah,
yeah. And I guess that is true. It is a factor, but more so, it's not a decide. It's not going to be who wins it and wins them over.
No, they can both get. Yeah, I don't think there's like a drop dead dollar figure where it's gonna be like, well, I'm taking that one.
And yeah, we're talking maybe $1 here or there, right? It's not, and he's at the point because he's already getting 9, so they're both going to be overextending themselves. So that's not an issue. The thing that we're all debating and have a conversation is obviously Florida a more premier job than Ole Miss, and you kind of are alluding to that. Can you elaborate more? Do you believe that it is with other things not including the money?
I think you're still closer to talent. I think you should theoretically still be able to recruit better out of high school. But I do think right now, if you are in an adequately funded SEC or Big Ten program, you can win the national title there. And that includes Ole Miss. And that, it's not that different anymore. And so, like I said, it comes down to where do you want to work? If you've always wanted to work in the state of Florida, he has once. He worked in Boca and Gainesville, kind of a little bit different towns. But, I do think that's really what it will be at the end of the day. And I also think other factors will probably come into play. What we were just talking about, if his team's 9-3, he can just make that decision. Where do you want to work? If Ole Miss is 11-1 going to the SEC championship game, that's a little bit different decision. Now, if it were last year, that would be it. There'd be no, you're just not getting him. But with the portal opening January 2nd now, all these schools with openings have a better chance if they're looking at somebody who's in the playoff.
We talked about that today because the recruiting class was my issue, but in all reality, no team is really going to have success.
You got to give up on the high school recruiting. Yeah, but bear in mind this: Florida didn't sign Dallas Wilson on signing day last year.
Correct.
They flipped him from Oregon. Yeah. He signed with Oregon, so it doesn't even matter anymore.
The portal's the big one, and then moving it back and allowing for you
you can get freshmen that you want once you know who that person is. If it's early enough in January when you make the hire, you can get freshmen and just have them in the portal.
Yeah, you can still flip them from signing in December. Yeah, and we talked about that today. It's like, look, even if he does make the SEC championship, if they lose first round of the playoffs, his decision may be harder, but you still have time, right? It's like
and the thing is, like, if you get to the playoff, let's say they make the playoff, and they're playing on December 20th. And Florida hasn't made a hire by December 20th, and everybody's still just in this holding pattern. You know what it is. You know what it means. Because Ole Miss is going to put the extension on his desk, may already have, And if he's staying, he's going to sign it. Like, I went back and forth with Michigan fans a few years ago, right after the national championship, because they're all complaining about their athletic director. Like, Ward Manuel's messing up this Jim Harbaugh extension. Well, he didn't mess up the Jim Harbaugh extension. Jim Harbaugh wasn't signing an extension. He was going to the NFL. He was always going to the NFL. Like, so it is not the guy's fault that he didn't extend Harbaugh. He tried, but Harbaugh was going to the NFL. So that's the thing. Like, I would assume Ole Miss will try to give Lane the Cignetti treatment. And Cignetti wanted to stay at Indiana because, like, everybody was going to call Cignetti. Everyone in the opening was going to call Cignetti. He could have just soaked in that and basked in it and decided, oh, maybe I do want to work in State College. Maybe I do want to think about Gainesville. But instead, he was like, they're going to pay me a buttload of money. I'm already winning here. I like it here. Let's just stay here.
So you've done a really good job, in my opinion, of teeter-tattering back and forth on why Lane should stay at Ole Miss, but then in the same breath saying, like, right now, because he hasn't signed the extension, that he's definitely, I would say, intrigued with Gainesville. Is that where you feel?
And the longer he goes without signing one, the better Florida people should feel.
Right. Until December the 20th.
Well, then Florida should feel really good.
But and that's the problem. You're dealing with human beings who can just change their mind. Like,
right.
So I would say be optimistic that he may want to come. But I'm sure that Scott Strickland and the rest of the administration are going to make sure they've got some backup candidates just in case. And if I had to guess who those backup candidates are, I'd say it's probably Eli Drinkwitz. It's probably Jeff Brom. There may be some others. The one thing I don't know, and this is the part that where it feels like 2021 all over again, because there's a couple big jobs, potentially a lot of other jobs coming open too. Like, we'll see about Auburn. Like, if Arkansas beats Auburn this week, good chance that comes open. What if LSU loses 2 more games and they say they're out on Brian Kelly? Like, Florida State looks like it's going to open. So there are going to be a lot of pretty good jobs open. And I kind of wonder if there's anybody sitting there like Brian Kelly and Lincoln Riley were in 2021. Because the thing, like, this is how it works with us reporters and the agents who represent coaches. Like, we talk about this stuff all summer. We talk about what jobs might open, who might want them. Some agents will just flat out tell us when they have a client who, like, this is his dream job. If this opens, put this guy on your hot board because he really wants it. And they've put feelers out, that sort of thing. But we never heard a peep about anybody talking about Lincoln Riley or Brian Kelly moving that year. Now, they both had the same agent at the time. They don't anymore. But that one was kept completely under the cover of darkness. And so I do wonder, because Penn State's a premier job, Florida's a premier job, LSU, if it opened, is a premier job. Is there somebody who is at a place where we're like, oh, that person's happy, they're not going anywhere, and maybe they are interested in going somewhere? But I don't know. We've gotten no indication of that. And like I said, it was kept such a secret when it was Lincoln Riley and Brian Kelly. If it's somebody like that, my guess is if there's a whiff of it out there, they're out of it. Because that's what I was told later by the people who did the deals with Lincoln Riley and Brian Kelly, but that essentially their conditions with USC and with LSU were, if anyone breathes a word of this, if there's even a hint of it, if there's a message board post, if there's anything, deals off, they're staying where they are.
Okay.
That's crazy.
Yeah. I've always felt that Florida news travels way too much, and some schools don't have that issue. And so hearing you say that, I was like, okay, like, that's, the light goes off of, like, clearly it can be controlled if need be.
But like, it was made, like, Scott Strickland was made aware that Brian Kelly was movable during that cycle. Because remember, Florida was open during that cycle too. Mm-hmm. And they had already locked in on Napier at that point. But they were made aware. So it's not, and that didn't get out until long after.
But still, I'm saying, like, if I feel like Florida takes a piss the wrong way, everyone knows about it. I mean, I feel like nothing moves.
I also think with Florida, people get
I think we're back. I'm sorry, gentlemen and ladies. I don't understand this stuff. I don't know what's going on with my internet here lately. We're being attacked. Only thing I can think of. We good? Yeah, hang on. I muted you. Or it shows you guys are both muted. Log out, log back in, guys. It just, for some reason, it shows you muted. Yeah, I can. Oh, brother. Dave, you there? Yeah, it says, I don't know if I. Oh, it's all miss. They're hacking us. I For some reason it says you guys are both muted, and I don't know why. And there's nothing I can do. I don't know if you guys can change your mic on your settings side. You can hear me, right? But I can't hear you. And I don't know. I see you. It shows me that you're muted, but I can't. It's like not letting me do anything to you to unmute you. Anytime things go wrong, my son goes, "It happens." That's where we're at right now. It happens. Oh yeah, on your side, Andy, there might be like a settings little gear. If you could click that and maybe play with the audio a little bit. I don't know. Nothing? Nothing there? I'm trying to think of what else I can do here. Well, gentlemen, hi guys, I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on. We're gonna try to figure this thing out. I may end it and try to reset it. Ah, man, so frustrating. So frustrating. Look at Dave, stud. All right, let me end it and reset it, boys.